Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the wonderful world you are tuning in from. This is Jesse Brower coming at you live from the tuition-free School of Entrepreneurship show. And for those of you who have never tuned into this show before, or if you're just tuning in for the first time, like I said, I want to tell you why I do the show. And it's really three reasons. Number one, I want to inspire entrepreneurship around the world with a specific focus on the Philippines. As you guys can see, the palm trees and the chocolate hills in the background. I love the Philippines, and I really want to inspire entrepreneurship. It's my personal goal that 200,000 or 300,000 Filipinos will start a business in their lifetime because of me and because of the tuition-free School of Entrepreneurship. Okay, so right now it's a Facebook page, it's a group, and it's a show, but eventually we will have 10 locations up and down the Philippines. It'll happen. And it will be brick and mortar places where people can go in and literally, if they don't even have a smartphone, they'll be able to learn entrepreneurship from day one and transform their lives. So that is the mission. That is my passion project, is the tuition-free School of Entrepreneurship. And so, like I said, there's a Facebook group, there's a page, there's a show. And right now, the show is where I'm providing most of my attention on that as we get ready to grow in other areas. And number two, the reason why I'm doing this is because, people have been telling me that I have like a radio voice and that I should be doing something like this. So I'm doing it now and I'm having a ton of fun. I enjoy it. I love the sound of my own voice. And, why not? I mean, I get a great kick out of it and I get to help a lot of people. Number three, I get to surround myself with the experts like Kevin here. He's a PowerPoint expert. I get experts that do trading, real estate, e-commerce, supplements, you name it. And, they say who you surround yourself with is who you become. So I get to grow and learn with the audience as well. So that's the tuition-free School of Entrepreneurship show. You guys, it's about a 30-minute show. And we have Kevin. How do you pronounce your last name, Kevin?
Well, I'm an Igorot, so we are kind of one of the tribes in the Philippines, and they would say Somerbang. But you guys, the white guys, would say Summerbang. So whatever, it sounds
Somerbang.
sounds good for me.
Somerbang.
Yeah.
So Kevin Somerbang, he's on the show. He's a PowerPoint expert, so much so that he's got the reputation as the PowerPoint superhero. And I guess you've got international clients already. You're making the millions of dollars, and you've really set yourself apart by your results. So super humbled to have you on the show. Exceptional skills to have. With that, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here. By the way, it's like 10 a.m. here, and you might be hearing some of the hammers because the upper floor are having renovations, so that's why. But anyways, I'm thrilled to be here, and I agree that you have a really nice voice. You could do a radio show or something, and I like your background, by the way. And so, yeah, um, I call myself the PowerPoint superhero because it's obvious that I use PowerPoint for all the designs that I do, and I'm really a big fan of PowerPoint, not because I started from a young age that I started to love making things look beautiful. But as you grow older, you just figure out that it's not really just making things aesthetically pleasing. You have to have function, and the function that I kind of figure out, like in the last 4 years that I've been working on with my freelancing, is that people like to tweak their materials on their own. I mean, you can expect senior executives to do Photoshop and Illustrator or Adobe, all those stuff, right? What they know is PowerPoint, and that's why I started my journey with PowerPoint. Before, I used to be a generalist, like I do sorts of designs in Photoshop, but because client wants something that is editable, I give them what they want, which is PowerPoint. And anybody, like a fifth grader, can even do that. So that's how my journey started.
Great, great. So basically, you found a problem and you're solving it as an entrepreneur. And I guess, as we know, that is paramount to entrepreneurship, is finding a problem, niching down, and solving that group of people's problems so you can profit from it and also provide a ton
Exactly.
of value at the same time. So congratulations on that, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, how did you start as an entrepreneur? And, just give us much background, like, why are you doing freelancing instead of a 9 to 5?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Well, the typical answer that I give to that is because I like it. It's my passion. Like since from a young age, I like to design stuff. But to be honest, I'm an industrial engineer by profession. I did supply chain jobs for 10 years,
Looks like we're having a little bit of technical difficulty. I'm sure the internet will kick back in here in a minute, and we will have
Oh,
Kevin
for
back
one,
live.
I
Okay.
think we're back.
Yeah, we're back.
Yep. So, what was I saying? Yep. So last year I decided to shift from corporate to full-time freelancing because I wanted to really spend time meeting new people, learning from them, just like what you're doing right now, and appreciate it. And when I was confined with the corporate world, there are so many politics, like politics. I mean, it depends on every company, but you cannot really help it. Politics is there, right? And you don't want to deal with the negatives every day for 9 to 5, right? And so I've been doing like a side hustle with my PowerPoint stuff for like 2 years before I shifted to full time freelancing. And so the industrial engineering job was okay. I'm good with that. That was like my second option after freelancing, of course. And so, um, yep, that's where I started. So that's a typical response that I give. But because I knew from the previous episodes that you've been interviewing some of the Christians out there, I think I'm gonna be comfortable to share my own like a faith
Yeah,
thing to
please
you
do.
guys out there.
Hey,
Yeah,
Jesus is Lord. No shame in the game, my brother.
no shame in the game, definitely. Okay, so I started when I was in the corporate world. I was part of a church, and then they would be teaching. They were teaching, and up until now, they are teaching missions giving. And so what they do is that you commit something, and then you give it regularly, and those things were going to be accumulated and divided to the all of the missionaries that the church is supporting. And so I committed something, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is a huge amount. I mean, back then that was for me a huge amount, and then I would say, how am I going to get that amount and then give it regularly to the Lord? And so that's where faith comes in. And I started to have that heart of a giver. I'm not saying that, I'm not patting myself in the back. I mean, the amount is not huge, but when you have a giver heart, a giving heart, blessings would normally or naturally flow. And
Yes.
so I started to do like selling bags and shoes and lipstick. I literally had to get all the pride out of my system just to get the money and then give it to my commitment. And so that's where I learned the difference between a matte and a glossy lipstick. It's funny, but it didn't really lasted long because it's kind of tiring. You would go to the place, the branch, and then you would get the stocks and then deliver them to your clients and stuff like that. I mean, Grab wasn't that popular back then. Okay. And then I started to like browse on the internet on how to like make money online, and that's how I started figuring out about Upwork. And so I created an Upwork account, and then from there I did like 2 years of freelancing doing Upwork. And there came to a point in my life that this is too difficult. I need to find better ways for me to earn monies and to reach the prospects that I want to reach. And that's where I joined a mastermind group. And then from that mastermind group, I learned the secrets that in order for you to become how do you say, a specialist or an expert of your field or your niche, you had to penetrate that specific market and give them your utmost best. And that's what I did. And so fast
Nice.
forward to now, I have Kinetic Slides as my agency, and then we help real estate businesses in the US, particularly apartment syndicators or multifamily syndicators, raise millions for their deals. And that's what I do now. And I'm really blessed to have all these opportunities of working for different persons and companies all around the globe.
Excellent. So you're really providing a ton of value, and I guess you're well taken care of as well. At this point, your finances are much better than they were when you had to sell the lipstick.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, every night when I come back from the branch store, I would just want to lie down on my bed and rest for like 9 hours because it's tiring. But right now, I think I have some sort of luxury of 2 extra hours of sleep during the day, like naps, because I can work on the terms that I want.
I love it, man. That's what it's all about. You asked me if you wanted to get the link for this. I just sent it to you. If you want to share it, you may. If afterwards or now, it doesn't matter. But it's there.
Yep, thank you. Definitely will wanted to share this to the society that I'm in.
Cool, man. Yeah, if you do it while it's live, it might get a little catch on a little bit more. But yeah, that's entrepreneurship, right? We get to build our own dreams, and we get to do what we want when we want, and
Exactly.
that's what I love about it. You get to build your own dreams, and you don't need anybody's permission, guys. And I'm a born again Christian, and I just am unashamed about my faith, and I'll always be a Christian. I'm raising my kids that way as well. But let me just tell you, you don't need a special calling from God to be an entrepreneur. You can
Yep,
decide.
agree.
you can
Agree.
decide.
Agree.
You can decide if you want to. So and you can work in a job, and there's no shame in that. If that's your choice, then go for that. But you can choose to
Hmm.
be an entrepreneur and make your own schedule, and provide something to the world in exchange for money. So, and that's what this show is all about: is encouraging people to take up entrepreneurship, because I think everybody and anybody can do it for the most part. I mean, there may be some
Exactly.
exceptions where, but I think most people can be an entrepreneur, and so I'm very excited for that. And I want to encourage everybody who's watching the show right now that you can become an entrepreneur. And so just take it from Kevin here; he's doing it. Take it from me. Take it from the guests that are on this show. We don't have to actually clock in and out. We get to make our
Yep.
own schedule, and it's nice, and we get to decide how much money we want to make and what we want to do with our lives. So I would encourage everybody to be an entrepreneur, and even the people that, I mean, I have it in my mind, like maybe there's somebody who is mentally handicapped or something like that, and very severely, and maybe I think it would be hard for them to be an entrepreneur. But even them, I think that they could somehow become entrepreneurial. And and especially if you're not, then I think you should definitely become entrepreneurial. And even if you are, even if you have some problem, or maybe something like that, even if it's severe. Now, people that are like in a comatose state, obviously they're not going to be entrepreneurs, is what I'm saying. Like if it's severe and they can't think, but for
Hmm.
the rest of us, you can be. I mean, if you can work in a job, you can be an entrepreneur, right? So just realize you can do it. And so how would you say using PowerPoint effectively can change the world? And help change lives, like especially with what you're doing in your specific industry,
Yeah, I like how you frame that question using the phrase effective use. Because,
right?
Jeff Bezos, as we know, he banned the use of PowerPoint presentation during his meetings because people would read from the bullets. And that's not effective use at all.
Mm,
And so what he replaced it with is a narrative story. So they would read a narrative before they dive into some of the questions that they have for the meeting. And so that's the reason why, PowerPoint gets a bad rap. People would use it as the script as opposed to a visual aid, you know? And when I say visual aid, you can use it to effectively teach people to learn new skills. I mean, all the courses that we see on Udemy and on other course platforms online or even on YouTube, they use PowerPoint slides, right? And so those are the basic things that PowerPoint can be used to change the world and to shape the minds of the future children or the future leaders of the children that we have now. And the second thing is that you can use PowerPoint to pitch your idea to people, right? So that's the essence of my service. So I I design the offering memorandums and pitch decks of startups and real estate investors so they can present their ideas well, like compellingly, and the hammers are agreeing. I'm not sure if you can hear those hammers out there. But
actually, I don't
anyways,
hear it.
oh, you don't hear it. Oh, good job,
You must have a
microphone.
good microphone there.
Yeah. All right. So that's what I do. I help them get their pitch done professionally using the visual communication in PowerPoint so that they could raise millions for their deals. That's
Excellent.
how I change the world with PowerPoint.
Super, man. Super. So what is one key marketing and business skill that you would recommend every person watching this show? I mean, you're specifically an expert in PowerPoint, but just as an entrepreneur, um, aside from just learning PowerPoint, what is like one key or skill that you would recommend everybody who wants to be an entrepreneur would learn?
Yeah, well, it's the one thing that I can give advice is the one thing that I really learned from the past. It's something that even if you're so good at designing but you don't know how to communicate and you don't know how to get your name out there, people are not going to buy from you, you know? So instead of focusing on that skill and making sure that it's perfect, focus on meeting new people, connecting, marketing yourself, getting your name out there, making making a name. As for me, I wanted to brand myself as the PowerPoint superhero, right? And so you also, like Jesse Brower, you wanted to be the king of the tuition free school, right? For
Right.
entrepreneurship and all those stuff. That's what we're doing, instead of just making sure that all the alignment, all the funds, all things are pixel perfect. Those things are just going to be secondary when you have a client on hand. So that's a marketing or business skill that I would recommend. Get yourself
So
out there.
what I'm hearing you say is definitely just get yourself out there, regardless of if everything is perfect. So in other words, and I think that that's what paralyzes a lot of new business people, and because having the right business card, having the right brand, having the right logo, having the right website, none of that is a business, you guys. That's not a business.
Yep, yep,
Guess
yep.
what a business is? A business is when you exchange a good or service for money. And until that
Exactly.
happens, you don't have a business. So, and that's where a lot of people get hung up. And, it's like they spend all this money. And there's these bogus statistics here in the United States about how like 95% of businesses fail or something. But I don't believe that, because that just means of the LLCs that were registered, 95% of them fell off or something. But you have to realize that most of the LLCs that get registered never take any action and make transaction, because they get so hung up and, they have this idea and then they make a website and they do all this. And then, but that's not it, guys. I have a Facebook friend, and he was, bragging the other day about how he had brought in like $250,000 in sales in a few months with no website.
Oh,
Because it's not even about the website. It's not about the branding and everything. And I mean, you should have that. It's good to have that. Don't get me wrong. But if
yep.
that's everything for you, and you don't really go out and put yourself out there and get clients and make yourself known and start making transactions, then at this point, you don't have a business yet. You're just building an idea. So I would agree with him 100%. Definitely put yourself out there and get busy making transactions. It's like, a lot of the guys, they want everything to be registered, and they want everything to be perfect. They want to have all their certificates with the cities and whatever. And here's the thing: you're going to go spend all that money on those things, and are you going to make it work? Okay, make it work then. But if it's me, I would say go ahead and get some clients, start providing a value service, and then create that business, and then fix everything as you go along, and then get your website, get your branding and everything down point. For sure, 100%. Because, like I said, and he's right, you got to get yourself out there, and it's good. It's good to have a website and all that good stuff. It's important, but that is not the business. That is not the business. And if you get hung up on that, you might paralyze yourself. Just get out there and get some clients and, and make some money and start getting a name for yourself based on the value that you're providing, not necessarily everything looking so perfect. But it's good to look good.
Exactly.
You should look good, but Andy,
Yep.
that's not the main thing. Everything doesn't have to be perfect before you get started. Let's see. What would you say when somebody's learning PowerPoint and they want to start doing what you're doing? Like, where would they go to get support? Is there a specific Facebook group or anything that you could recommend?
Yeah, cool. So, um, I guess some of the viewers out there are graphic designers already, right? So the advanced stuff like Adobe and stuff. So when you just dive in to your computer and open Microsoft PowerPoint, you could just explore it on your own. But if you need some sort of assistance, and this also applies to those persons who don't have any knowledge of PowerPoint, you could use YouTube. I mean, that's where I learned. I mean, all of the 2D animations and logo designs and video creation using PowerPoint. I learned them all using YouTube. You don't have to spend a single peso for that. You can just learn from YouTube. There's so many channels out there. And speaking of, I'm gonna be releasing my podcast anytime soon, and it's gonna include some sort some sort of tutorial in how to do stuff on PowerPoint. So that could probably help you guys out there who are wanting to take the same path that I did.
Excellent. So I always ask this question to everybody that comes on the show. What would you say to the person who has like a smartphone and a 50 peso load, and that's it? They don't have a business yet, but they want to become an entrepreneur. They want to start a side hustle. They want to get started in business. What advice could you give them on that?
Yeah, interesting question. It sounds like that's the only capital that you have out there is your energy, right? And your skills. And so, what I would say is that people should explore things out. If you're not good with designs, you're good with words and stuff like that, you could connect to your Facebook friends and ask them, what do you need? I'm good at this, and this I could offer this to you for free. And in exchange, you can give me some sort of recommendation. And so it would be easier for me to get some clients in the near future. Some sort of like that. You just have to explore things and look for that particular problem that you could help them provide solutions with. And that's how you can start a business.
Right. So networking.
Networking, exactly.
Yeah, and there's never been a better time for networking, guys, with the social media the way it is and Facebook and everything. So definitely utilize it because you can build a business 100% online these days.
Hmm.
I mean, it's just incredible. So let's see. How can people find you? Where would they want to look for you and find you?
Yeah, I'm very active on LinkedIn. So you can search my name out there. It's Kevin Somerbang. And you can also visit my Facebook page. It's kineticslides.com. Kinetic Slides. And my website is kineticslides.com.
All right, cool, man. Let's put that on the thing here. How do you spell it?
It's kinetic.
K I
KINETIC.
N E T I C
Slides.
slides
Slides.
SLIDES.com. Right.
Com. That's right.
Very good. My wife is from the Philippines, and she has far more education than I do when it comes to spelling. So anytime I need to know how to spell a word, I just ask her.
Well, that wife comes in so handy.
Absolutely. So yeah, man. So those are kind of all the questions I have prepared, and we have a few minutes left here. So I mean, basically, man, how has I'll just kind of go off the cuff here, kind of impromptu. How has like COVID-19 and everything that's been going on in the Philippines with that affected your business? Has it affected it at all?
Um, Not at all. I mean, that's one of the biggest blessings that I had in my entire life. I mean, my biggest client is from LA, and so we would converse via Zoom, and then I just send him my output, and then nothing's really changed so much. And so maybe that's one thing that really is helpful to the viewers out there. If you're wanting to create a business, don't just stick with the traditional one, like selling stuff with your neighbors or stuff. You can use the power of, the digital era, to find clients that are not just on your neighborhood, not just in the Philippines, but all throughout the world. And so when you kind of distribute your reach, you have chances that whenever this market goes down, you have another one up, you have a backup, right? So when I have, let's say, the Philippines market, and I have the US market, and I have the Australian market, whenever the COVID thing has really affected much the economy of the Philippines, I would just stick to the US, which is, I think, a better economy right now. And people would still pay for services at a premium price when they get the value that they want.
That's incredible. And so let's talk about pricing. A lot of times people, they look to the Philippines to get stuff for cheaper, but I think more and more now, Filipinos are charging, US rates, and they're getting it because of their expertise. Have you found that you're able to charge pretty much US rates, or are you offering still maybe cheaper than like a US PowerPoint expert would charge?
I would say I'm not gonna compare myself to like the Filipinos out there, but and I don't really like comparisons. So here's the thing that I would say: whenever you're learning from experts, learning learning stuff that you didn't really did before, like the strategies, like how to market yourselves out there, how to position yourself as the expert, how to structure your pricing, how to send proposals. Those things really contribute to the premium charging that you have right now. I have a lot of friends who are charging like $50 an hour for things like email, or for even transcription on even some sort of VA task, and that is incredible. I mean, I'm not at that level yet. I'd like to believe myself that I would be at that level soon. But when it comes to pricing, I think the one thing that really needs to be solid is that your value, because um, if people likes the value that you give, they would really buy it, no matter how expensive that is.
Yeah, and to me, there's nothing wrong with coming in, at a cheaper price and undercutting the U.S. PowerPoint experts, because if you can sweep up that business, I mean, why not? I think it's wise sometimes. But I was just curious to see, how your pricing was and how it compared. But yeah, so you're doing that, and it sounds like you're having a good time doing it, and you've been able to really create the lifestyle that you want. Do you have any plans to grow a team of people that do this?
Yeah, I'm starting to kind of lay out the job descriptions, I would say, of the graphic designers that I will be hiring anytime soon, and all those admin tasks that I need to throw out to someone because it consumes a lot of my time.
Sure, sure, sure. Yeah, absolutely. And you can ultimately build it out and have a team of people doing it.
Hmm.
So that's exciting too, isn't it? And you get to provide jobs in the meantime. So would you provide more like jobs or kind of like partnerships? Have you if you thought about it?
Yeah, I would say jobs for maybe like two or one person. I mean, it's not going to be a really huge team. I mean, I'm happy with what the Lord has given me now, like supporting one person or two persons at a time. And yeah, I think partnership is really a good thing. I mean, I'm a part of a mastermind group, and a lot of us are like sharing the information or the needs of their clients. And so someone will say, "Oh, I can help that. We can talk it out."
So you're from Baguio, man. I'm
I
encouraging you
am.
to take your skills and build out a team. You'll be the biggest PowerPoint and graphic design expert in the whole whole northern Philippines. Go for it.
Thank you.
Yeah, go
Thank
for it, man.
you.
Yeah, yeah. You'll serve the whole world. I had a guy on my show. What was it? The the one before last. His name is Joseph Aaron, and he really, really hit home. I don't know if you get a chance to see it, but he was talking about how if your product or service is not yet filling the whole world, then you still have room to grow. And he's the guy that talks about the multiply message, and he's a Christian, but he's a very wealthy Christian. And a lot of times, people, including me, and especially in the church, they struggle with really exploding when it comes to making millions of dollars and this kind of thing. And he had to go through a pretty hard struggle to figure that one out. And he went through years of homelessness and a lot of different things. And at this point, he figured it out. And he said, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and he said to the mankind, he said, what did he say? He said, be fruitful, multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it. And so, and to him, that's not just a procreation, that's actually multiply and subdue it. And he takes that as a business verse, and he's out there. So he says, if your services are not in the whole world yet, then you still have plenty of room to grow, and you can really do that. So, and that's a big message, right? And when I hear it, it's like, wow, okay, you know, I guess
Yeah.
there's a long
I
way to
think
go.
yeah, I think I kind of heard that. That was the episode that says God, money, and entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I kind of heard that. That was a nice episode, by the way.
Thanks, man. I enjoyed doing it, and I enjoyed doing this one too. So we're getting up to 30 minutes here. We usually keep it right around 30 minutes. So what do you have? Any final thoughts for the audience?
I think that's it. Just if you're planning to transition from a corporate job to freelancing, I think this is the perfect time, because the market's really unstable. People are losing their jobs. And if you start now, chances are you would be way ahead than those persons who are thinking of starting.
Last question. This is an interesting one that just came to mind. As you do well in freelancing, and as you kind of grow your empire, do um, do you foresee yourself maybe putting up like a brick and mortar business, like a physical location business domestically, just as a
Yeah,
passion project, like a restaurant or something like that?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So this book right here, I'm not sure if you guys can see it. It's Unlock It by
Unlock it.
Dan Locke.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I've read this, and it says when you are planning to have a business someday, the first thing that you need to do is to have a high income skill that will fuel your investment in the future, and then your investment will fuel your business in the future.
got it.
So that's how I kind of structured my strategy in the next decade or so.
Man, I love it. I love it. This is so inspiring, you guys. So here's a guy that was, in a job. He's transitioned to full-time freelancing. He's getting good money. He's making his clients millions of dollars in LA and, all over the world. It sounds like Australia, United States. It's incredible, guys. And he's living his own lifestyle. He gets to, decide what he wants to do, when he wants to do it. And he's now developed a high income skill so he can work toward providing an actual physical, some type of a business in the Philippines, which is great. And here's the other thing, guys. He doesn't have to work abroad. That's the one
Yep.
thing I want to hit home on, you guys. He doesn't have to go and become an overseas worker. Now, there's no
Yep.
shame in that. But guess what? Because of the power of the internet and because of entrepreneurship, you guys don't have to go work abroad. You can actually go ahead and make just as much and even way, way, way more through entrepreneurship and freelancing and things like that, and building out a team and doing it what you want to do. So, guys, this is the Tuition Free School of Entrepreneurship show. And if you're thinking about starting a business, just take action on it. Just definitely
Mm-hmm.
take action, because you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have everything fixed already. And if you feel like an imposter, like maybe you don't feel like you're an expert, hey, forget about it. If you know 1% more than your client, then you're already an expert to the client. If you know how to do one thing that they don't know how to do, and you can solve a problem for them, then that's already making you an expert in their eyes. And then you technically are an expert because you're doing something that they don't know how to do. A lot of times people that are new in business, they struggle with imposter syndrome. They feel like, oh, well, I haven't been doing this for a long time, or I don't have a college degree in it. Forget about all that stuff, guys. Bottom line is, if you can solve somebody's problem, they will pay you for it. So become an
Exactly.
entrepreneur. Find problems out there and go fix them, and leverage the power of the internet. Also, definitely physical businesses are great. So however you do it, definitely go become an entrepreneur, build your dreams, because you can do it. So God bless you guys, and thanks for watching the Tuition Free School of Entrepreneurship show, and I'll see you next time.